Hi, this is Cass from Aussie Cass Plays, and welcome to part 26 of my Medieval Legacy Challenge. I actually think this is going to be the last part with this family, you guys. I think we're going to move Rose out in the next part. But there's a few things we've got to get done in this part. The first thing is you'll see David was just having himself a nice bath, getting himself all kind of scrubbed up nice and clean, because he is going to go today to talk to Alana's father, because he wants to ask for her hand in marriage. I'm going to have him adopt his siblings as care dependents, given his parents are now away. Yeah, David's saying to the older two girls, look, I think I've decided, I think it's going to be Alana, and I'm going to go see if her dad would be amenable to that. We'll see how that conversation goes. Obviously, the whole situation, the wheels could kind of fall off a bit. She's like, yep, that all sounds like a good idea. You know, you should feel super confident about yourself because you are a good match. And he's like, well, are you sure? Because, you know, she's the daughter of a knight, like a noble family. And Isabella's like, yeah, but you're a landholder. David has arrived at the castle. Now, I will let you guys know, oh, he's dazed. I did replace the castle with a different castle. So, because I felt like I downloaded a lot for this size, like a castle was called Small Medieval Castle or something, I forget. But it wasn't, like, the rooms were tiny. I downloaded a lot from the gallery, which was a spooky castle, which was a spooky day themed castle, and I had to redo the entire interior. Basically got rid of everything except for like a few bits and pieces, like I think the kitchen's more or less the same. I also have a lot more packs than the person who built the original castle, so the whole thing's had a makeover. I actually really love it. I've put this version on the gallery, so if you're interested, if you go looking for Hurricane Cass, this whole thing, which took me about 3 days on and off to do, was quite intense. So this is the castle, and he's introducing himself to Sir Reginald, who was out the front. He's actually here to see Sir Edison, so he's going to ask Sir Reginald, who knows the family quite well by this point, because since the death of Sir Leon, it's usually been Sir Reginald who's been taking the taxes. So he's like, look, I'm here. I'm the oldest son of the Grahams from the farm over on the island, and I'm here. I was hoping I could see Sir Edison. And Sir Reginald, who's feeling very dazed, because obviously there's a neighbourhood action plan going on here, is like, yep, sure, I mean, that'll be fine. So he's on the ground floor, I'm pretty sure. Look, why don't I show you where he is? So I'm going to add these two to a group. Crown Princess Grace is standing on the stairs. We're just going to, like, imagine, I guess I could have him do a respectful introduction to her. He's already met Isabella. Ooh. Oh dear. David Graham just stopped what they were thinking about and found themselves, I was a bit worried it was going to be Princess Grace, but it wasn't. He's found himself staring at the princess's boon companion, Lady Isabella. She is very much out of his league, and that is terrible. Her beautiful features meet David's desires so readily, it's almost as if whatever created such a sim sculpted her specifically for David. Well, I didn't. She is out of your league, boy. So he's going to make a very respectful nod and smile to the Crown Princess, who's standing on the stairs. And then I'm actually, oh, baby, I'm sorry. No. So I think I spotted Sir Edison in here. So I'm going to have them go in here together. Reginald, you're meant to be showing David where he's going. Oh, he's following her. Baby, no. It's my sweet summer child. No. Let her go. He's like watching her walk up the stairs and thinking, oh, wow. So I'm going to have him do a respectful introduction to Sir Edison. Now, this is Alana's father. He's a member of the King's Royal Guard. Sir Reginald is like the senior guard, and this is one of the junior. I said guard. He's one of the King's Knights, but he's not like the head knight. He's not the knight sergeant. So, no, you're not doing flirty sculpture. Oh my god. He's come here to ask for Alana's hand in marriage, and all he can think about is the beautiful lady that he just saw. Oh my god, this was meant to be straightforward. It was meant to be straightforward. I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong. Let's see. Ask about his day. I mainly actually want him to talk himself up because he's trying to convince Sir Edison that he's a good match. He's trying to make a good impression. He's like, look, I'm a landholder. You know, I'm the heir to my parents' farm. I like Alana. She's pretty cool. Well, I would think that you would, but I guess you never know, really, do you? Oh, God, it's the king who's just rocked up in his pajamas or whatever that is. So that's awkward. I'm not super okay with this. Can I say sit together over here? Tell an engaging story. Ask about what it's like to be a knight. Sir Edison is unemployed. He's not. He's a knight of the realm. We're going to flatter him. I mean, clearly the guy's easing into, like, late middle age in a very comfortable way. He's had a good life. Because the thing is that the king, like, this realm hasn't been at war with anybody in a long time. And there hasn't been any real threats to the crown. So the knights have had a pretty easy kind of wicket, honestly. I mean, it feels like they're getting on. Give relationship advice. Like, I feel like you should let me have a relationship with your daughter. You know, I would like to request her hand in marriage, and we'll see how this goes. He's like, yes, I kiss my hand. It's like, yes, that's fine. Let's just ignore King Windenburg over there. Where are you going? Stop. No, stop. I know he's feeling super romantic because of someone else. So he's now, you know, basically saying goodbye. And so Edison is saying, look, if my daughter is amenable... Oh, the queen's going for a swim. If my daughter is... Or the crown princess. I keep calling her the queen. If my daughter is amenable to marrying you, then you may request her hand of me. You know, he's been... Oh, now he's going for a swim. I mean... Okay. He's like, yes! He said yes, and trying really hard not to think about that cute girl that he saw. I mean, if you really want to prune it, then prune it. Fine, whatever. She's in here talking to the king. Now, I don't know if there's anything going on between these two. She is the boon companion of the crown princess, but that does not mean that the king isn't a dirty old man. I'm just saying, like, it could be actually be a thing that there's something going on there. And if David's hearing these guys talking to one another, it's entirely possible that he's like, oh, wow. I'm going to take him home. We may invite Alana over. It is dinner time, so it won't be today. But maybe tomorrow we'll invite Alana over and we'll see if she is amenable to a marriage proposal from David. I'm getting such a bad feeling about this, you guys. I literally just had David send an invitation to Alana. And then I got this wonderful whims notification that he had hot daydreaming about Isabella Hilliard. Now, I should be clear, Isabella Hilliard and Isabella Graham, obviously different people. It's unfortunate we've had two Sims with the same name. Qualities of Isabella manifest themselves as strong echoes that bring David intense amounts of joy. He's thinking about someone else while he's going to propose. Right, go and invite Alana in. It's a bit awkward that this is all happening in front of the girls, so I'm going to have him just, like, talk to her about, you know, news of the realm, about how he went to the castle and he saw the king in his swimmers, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, talk about money and how well off we are and show off our muscles. He's trying to distract himself from the fact that he keeps thinking about Isabella Hilliard. Like, he just can't help it. You know, he actually finds Alana very attractive. It's just that Isabella ticks all the boxes, I guess. And she's bored, which does not bode well, given that I had intended this to be a proposal. So they've come to sit outside together. Hopefully the girls will keep out of the way. I mean, they are being a bit nosy, I think, especially because it's almost Isabella's birthday, especially because Olivia's away. And I think they feel like they need to substitute for their mum. So we're going to reveal a deep secret. His deep secret is that he went to visit... Oh, she's flirty. Awesome. He went to visit her dad at the castle. That's why he was there. Wasn't to pay taxes, because we don't have to do that till tomorrow. Confess his attraction again. I think we did that already. Perhaps he could kiss her hands. We'll see how that goes. Okay. I mean, she definitely seems interested. Please do not work out. Oh, look, Isabella's over here just watching. That's so cute. I mean, kind of a little bit meddling and interfering, but still cute. So we're going to perhaps have a first kiss. If I could have him propose without the first kiss, I would, but obviously The Sims doesn't work that way. Now, I'd like for him to be able to propose. Let's see. I have to ask to be girlfriend first. Maybe I should leave it at that. Was that a sentiment? That would make me feel better about this relationship. Alana's smitten with David and he feels close to her. He's not smitten with her because he keeps thinking about the Lady Isabella. Oh my God. I'm going to switch households now. I'm going to leave these two where they're at and go and catch up with Zachary and Olivia, especially because the sun's setting and they're going to visit vampires. So it seems like the right time, you know? All right, you guys, we've arrived in the Forgotten Kingdom. It's been a long journey. Poor Olivia and Zachary and Jewel haven't even known if Oliver was still alive, but they've met Caleb in a forest on the outskirts of the kingdom, and he's telling them that he has good news and bad news. And the good news is Oliver is definitely still alive. So, you know, he has not succumbed to his illness. Well, sort of. They're like, well, what do you mean sort of? You know, how is he only sort of succumbed to his illness? That doesn't make sense. I think Jewel in particular is going to be quite abrupt with him because she is in love with Oliver and she's like, you know, what do you mean? How can he be sort of unwell? Jewel's basically making fun of him and being like, come on, tell me the truth. Is he dead? Is he not dead? And Caleb's like, look, he's not dead, but he was turned into what? It's like turned into a vampire. Now, Olivia in particular is devastated by this. It's like, what do you mean turned into a vampire? That's not okay. That's outrageous. Poor Caleb's still feeling uncomfortable from garlic, by the way. She's like, how dare you say he's a vampire? He can't be a vampire. Caleb's like, well, I'm sorry, but he is. I'm going to take you back to our house, but I want you guys to prepare yourselves for the fact that he has changed. Oh, by the way, if you like this lot, it's a pine forest lot that I made. So pine forest and then like a little clearing with like flowers and mysterious mushroom circle over here. It's all a bit creepy. Quite proud of it. I think it's cute. I just wanted somewhere for them to meet, and it is on the gallery if you wanted to check it out. It's very Forgotten Hollow. So we've arrived at the Vitor mansion. I got this off the gallery. I did, again, give it a bit of a makeover to make it less, you know, modern. And Oliver's actually waiting for them here. So Olivia's like, oh my God, Oliver, it's so good to see you. You can also give him a hug. Be like, it's good to see you, son. Oliver was a bit worried that his parents, with their disdain for vampires, would not actually be super keen on having a vampire for a son. And they're like, well, son, you have to understand we will always love you. And, you know, it will be a bit tricky when you come back to the farm, but she's, of course, come up and been like, sweetheart, you look great. I mean, a bit pale. He does look a bit pale, you guys, but the nobility kind of wear, because obviously the vampires have given him clothes because he only had clothes on his back when he was brought here. Yeah, he does look good. Like, the outfits suit him and the colouring and everything suits him. We'll come in here, we'll have everyone sit together and talk. Zachary and Olivia are saying, well, obviously it'll take some adjustments when you come home. Like, we'll have to, like, take all of the garlic down and everything. Oliver and Caleb are saying, well, he can't go home. You know, that's not possible. Zachary's like, what do you mean it's not possible? Of course he's going to come home. He's my son. I don't care if he's a vampire. You know, we adjusted to you being around. We can adjust to our son being a vampire. And Caleb will explain that he can't come home because he's very new and new vampires don't have a lot of self-control. So it's not really safe for him to go back because he will be way too inclined to feed with no self-control, and he needs more experienced vampires like Caleb and Lilith around to keep him kind of under control and like help him manage his instincts so he doesn't hurt anybody. So obviously this is a bit of a shock to Olivia and Zachary, who thought they were coming here to bring their son home or thought they were coming here to find their son dead. They weren't expecting to find him, you know, alive, but also not alive because he's undead. I'm actually just going to have her get changed so that she's not in her big hat. So Jewel, in the meantime, while they're arguing, is like, you know, I'm so glad to see you. You're looking fantastic. And Oliver's a bit worried. He's like, well, I was worried that you wouldn't be interested in me anymore. You know, I thought that you'd want to not have anything to do with me. I might actually have these guys sneak off while the adults are arguing. I say adults, these two are both adults too. You know, she's feeling super nervous that, you know, oh, well, I thought you wouldn't be interested in me anymore. And he's like, of course I'm still interested in you, Jewel. I thought you wouldn't be interested in me because I'm a vampire. And Zachary's like, this whole situation is mad, honestly. It's like, well, I'll always love you and, you know, I will stay here with you if you want me to. You just have to ask. He's like, well, let's not make any decisions tonight. You're very tired. So she's going to go off to sleep. And Olivia and Zachary, in the meantime, I think they're going to have to come over here and have a bit of a chat about what they want to do. So go grab a serving of the salad she just made. She's talking to him about, well, what do we do? You know, we can't let Oliver stay. Caleb, of course, can hear them. He's going to go talk to Oliver about, you know, you can't go with them. You might be tempted, but you can't. These guys, in the meantime, are like, well, can we let him stay? And Zachary's saying to Olivia, I don't think we have a choice. It's probably for the best. It's not super safe for Oliver to come home. We don't know how to look after him. It's obviously not as sunny here. Like, you know, he could die. And if the king found out there was a vampire at our house, he'd be very likely, like, to send his knights around and do something about it, you know? I mean, he has been dismissive of our worries about vampires, but he's still not going to be okay with vampires if he finds out that there's a vampire. You know, regardless of Caleb and Oliver's objections, particularly Caleb's objections around Oliver's self-control, there are other good reasons why he can't kind of come with us. I'm going to skip ahead until morning because these guys are actually quite tired. They've obviously had a very long and trying day. So I'll get these two to, you know, go to sleep. Obviously, Jewel already has. We'll catch up with them once the human Sims have had a chance to kind of rest and recover from their journey. So it's the next day and Oliver was practicing the violin when Jewel got up, and she's come in to the kitchen to listen to him and have herself some food. And I think these guys, they're going to have a bit of a chat about what now. So they're going to I'm going to actually tell him to stop playing. So they're going to have a deep conversation. She's still in her sleepwear. He's never seen this much leg of Jewel before, so that's probably why he's feeling very flirty. Let's see. We'll be flattering, and he's going to say, look, I can't believe that you came all this way for me. And she's like, well, I love you. And he's like, I love you too, but it's a long way, and this place is full of vampires. Like, you don't understand. They're dangerous, and I'm dangerous. And she's like, sweetheart, it's fine. Well, it's not fine. How can you say it's fine? Right now, there are only two things on my mind, and one of them is biting you on the throat. And she's like, well, if you want to bite me on the throat, why don't you just ask, you know? I'm not saying I'd be averse to it. It's not going to kill me, is it? And he's like, well, no. She's like, is it going to turn me into a vampire? And he's going to say no. Now, I actually want her to say yes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say compel, but it's not actually a compulsion. So we'll imagine that she said yes. So he's asking her and she's like, yes, and this spell is to make it so it doesn't hurt. Now, obviously, there are two things he said he had on his mind. Caleb's coming and be like, what are you doing? No, Caleb, that's not your violin. So she kissed him straight after. See, she didn't mind. Oh, Caleb, stop. No, that's not for you. I'm taking that away. Now, I'm actually going to have him attempt to propose to her. And we'll see how it goes. Obviously, he can. He should be able to kiss her neck. He's kissing it better. That's so cute. Compared to long lost love, she's his only love. Okay, propose. It is an option. if you truly mean it, if you want to stay with me, then I think we should do this properly. And she said yes. That's so cute, you guys. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, I love these two so much. Jewel is just like, sure, you should probably be asking my father's permission, but we all know he would say yes. Now, she knows that her dad would probably not say yes to her marrying a vampire, but I don't think that she would care. So Oliver, I think, is going to come and talk to his mother, who I think is right there. He's going to have a deep conversation with his parents and gush about Jewel and how they're going to get married, and he wants to marry her like right now. So he's saying to his parents, look, if I have to stay here, I want Jewel to stay with me. And Jewel is going to argue that yes, she also wants to stay. I'm going to say argue about career. Because obviously Olivia and Zachary were like, no, of course you can't stay. Olivia's saying, no, absolutely not. I love you, Oliver, but I'm not leaving my friend's daughter in a den of vampires. And Jewel's like, you don't have that right to say that. My father gave me permission to marry Oliver, and I am going to marry Oliver, and I am not the weak and ineffectual girl child that you think I am. I am not like your daughters who can't defend themselves from a vampire. I have powers. And Olivia's saying, what do you mean you have powers? You know, powers of being obnoxious, sure. And Jewel's going to be like, no, I have powers. And she's going to go in here. Now, Olivia is following because the whole idea was that this was a demonstration. And Zachary is also following. They're coming in and they're seeing that Jewel is making light with her fingers and casting spells. She's like, look, if the vampires try and do anything I don't want them to do, I can stop them. Now, Olivia is very shocked by this. She didn't know that there was a history of spellcasters in it's either Jared or Caitlin's families. But obviously Jewel has inherited that. That does explain the whole situation with the eyes and everything. And yes, at least one of you guessed that in the comments. Good job, Lady Sweetheart. You are 100% correct. So Jewel has learned Deliriate, which is great because she can use that to stop vampires from biting her. So what I'm actually going to do, because obviously Olivia and Zachary want to get home, and, you know, it's nice for them to be able to catch up with Oliver, but I think Olivia's come to realise that she's completely out of her depth here. She can't look after Oliver. She can't take him home. It's a little bit heartbreaking. She can still keep in touch with him via letters and stuff, but she's not like, will I ever see him again? And if he is going to marry Jewel, Olivia's kind of keen as well that it happened before they leave so they can at least be there for the wedding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these guys prepare for the wedding. So, like, cook a cake up and stuff. It'll have to be in the evening because vampires. So Olivia's down in the kitchen making a cake. And Lilith is coming down to talk to her. I know we don't know each other and you don't really have any reason to trust me, but I can promise you that we will definitely look after your son. And, you know, when he's able to come back to see you, I will definitely make sure that he does. I think my brother, you're right, he's quite excited to have someone else with us. We feel quite sympathetic towards Oliver because Caleb and Teresa did the same thing to him that they did to us. You know, we're siblings, like we're genuine, you know, we were born siblings, not just siblings of the night. And we were kidnapped by Vladislav Stroud, who also kidnapped Teresa. He's done this to multiple people. We didn't want to be vampires either. We've adjusted, and I think you'll find that we're probably best placed to help your son adjust to what has happened to him. It's a strange experience because, you know, on the one hand, you know that you're cursed, but on the other hand, you also know, like, you have this real sense of a new strength that you didn't have before, which is obviously counterbalanced by a new vulnerability. Basically, she's trying to sort of explain to her that she gets it. She gets how Olivia's feeling right now. She also gets how Oliver's feeling, and she thinks that her and Caleb are actually best placed to deal. So what I've done, I ended up deciding, because this is quite a small lot and there's not really room for us to do an outdoor wedding, I have actually set up this beautiful little wedding here. Now, I'll just get everyone changed into their actual proper outfits and then I'll touch base with you guys. These little cuties, I came to find them and they were up here smooching, and then Caleb's come up to break up the party. It's like, no, come on now. Like, for real. It's just like, I'm going to totally make out with my future husband. So I guess I'll have these guys, no, not tie the knot right here, right now. I actually want to bring everyone downstairs. So we're going to attempt to have a nice little wedding ceremony. So I put lots of candles around to try and like increase the amount of light in here. Aww. This is super sweet. We have a spellcaster and a vampire who've known each other since they were children, tying the knot, dedicating their lives to one another. It'll be an interesting life for them, I'm not going to lie. But Oliver gets what he wants, which is to play violin for nobility. And Caleb and Lilith are nobility. Jewel gets what she wants, which is Oliver, and also some very nice dresses. She just wanted a good life. I mean, like any girl in that time, I guess. And Oliver, especially now, can 100% give that to her because Caleb and Lilith will look after him. Oh, babies. And did they all sit and watch? I mean, they stood and watched, but that's good. Everyone stood and watched the wedding. Yay, I'm so happy. I mean, they didn't have a choice. That's okay. All right, we're going to talk to guests for 2 hours. So we're going to thank our parents for coming all this way. And she's going to, talk to Caleb and Lilith about how, she does really, love their house and she's super excited to be living here, and reassuring them that she's genuinely not afraid of being here. She thinks she can look after herself. Now, whether she can or not, an inexperienced spellcaster versus Vlad, obviously the money would be on Vlad. Let's be real. But I admire her optimism, and she's also got Lilith and Caleb on her side. I'm really happy that this is happening, you guys. I wanted to marry Jewel into this family from the second that because Caitlin got pregnant by accident. That was genuinely an accidental pregnancy because Jared let his hormones run away with him and woohooed with her out of wedlock. She did get pregnant. I had forgotten that Jewel, or that Caitlin, who's Jewel's mother, was a spellcaster. I downloaded a bunch of Sims from the gallery and it turned out she was a spellcaster, and I either didn't know or had forgotten. I think I'd probably forgotten because I did look at everyone in cast to make sure all their outfits were okay. So when Jewel was born and aged up and she was a spellcaster, I was just like, oh my God, yes. Now, I thought that she'd be marrying into the family with David, I have to admit. And I thought that potentially David would be the heir. It was only once I really thought through the logic of it that I thought, well, no, it doesn't make sense for David to be the heir to the next generation because he's going to inherit the farm. So, and obviously he didn't want to marry Jewel. He was not interested. He found her very off-putting. I think it was the occult eyes. I had thought that Jewel's spellcaster descendants would perhaps be in the family line in a way that I would play them, but that's okay. I mean, this is still super cute, and I'm very happy for these two cuties. You are not here. Go home. I will move Zachary and Olivia back to the farm. I'm also going to move Rose out. I haven't 100% decided about Isabella. I'm thinking about having her move in with Rose, at least temporarily, until Isabella, finds someone and gets married, and Olivia, or Rose finds someone and gets married. What I'm actually thinking is she's going to be a bartender. I'm going to have her work at one of the inns and earn money from that. So I'll reimburse her money for her shifts at the inn, and then she also has to do the other things that she needs to do, like having parties to cook for nobility and all that kind of thing, and I'll pay her for that. So it won't be a career. I'll use cheats to actually pay her, but that's the plan. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. So I'm actually, oh, she's double fisting it. Olivia. Okay. She's like, it's been a really long day. You know, it started with me wanting to leave with my son and the girl that I brought here wanting to stay and us having a big fight, and it ended with a wedding. So I'm actually going to end this part here, I think. I think this wedding has been super cute. I'm very glad that we got to do this. I really wanted to see Oliver and Jules' wedding, and I thought, given that he has to stay here, that this was the best way to do it. Jules actually in a dress she borrowed from Lilith, if you're wondering. It's not like she packed a wedding dress or anything. Although, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if she did. Oh, I forgot there was a downstairs with coffins and stuff. How exciting. I'm super loving Oliver's new kind of vibe, I guess, his new thing that he's, you know, I think vampirism actually really suits him. I might have these two. How is she doing? She's doing all right. I'm thinking I might have these two sneak off for a cheeky little woohoo. Oh, Zachary's feeling really sad. Presumably because his son's not coming home with him. But, you know, at least Oliver's happy. All right, I'm going to leave it here. I keep rambling because I think these guys are super cute. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think and what you think of sort of the situation with Rose and Isabella and David and Alana and the other Isabella. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands. And I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.